Well, thank you for patiently waiting. I know if you're here, rebuilding is probably something that's already on your plate, definitely weighing on your mind. That's not a small thing. So first, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Welcome to our first Rebuilding with Resilience webinar of 2026. We are starting up this series again. We're going to be doing it monthly. We took a short break at the end of the year. If you're one of our regulars, and we're really looking forward to continuing these conversations in a really consistent way. Each month, we bring in a special guest. We help educate around non-combustible construction, wildfire behavior, materials, insurance realities, and basically, really what rebuilding looks like in the landscape today. I got somebody else. I'm going to let him in. Um, Today, I'm very happy to welcome Art Andrus. Art is a retired fire deputy chief. He now works as a safety consultant. He brings decades of firsthand experience with wildfires, and I'm very incredibly grateful. I know our whole team is to have his perspective today. So thank you, Art, so much for being here. So whether you're actively rebuilding, you're considering it, you're simply just trying to get a better understanding of your options, I just want to thank you for being here, and we're all really grateful to have you here. So at Phoenix, our mission is really simple. It's forever homes for everyone. That means several things. It means that our homes are accessible, they're thoughtfully designed, they're built to perform, not just today, but they're built to really last for generations. Forever to us means wood-free, non-combustible construction, designed for real wildfire conditions, engineered for durability, for insurability, that's very important, and really delivered at a cost parity to traditional homes so that it's not going to cost you extra money. We really believe at Phoenix that resilience should not be a luxury upgrade, that it should be the standard, and we all want to afford to live like this. Let me quickly walk you through what we'll cover today. We're going to start with some brief introductions to the team that we have here on the call. We'll really clarify what non-combustible construction actually means behind some of the marketing language that you'll hear commonly thrown around. We'll touch on Phoenix's streamlined design process, how we keep projects aligned on timeline and budget. And then we'll hear from our guest Art, who will walk us through what actually happens in a wildfire and how materials perform in real conditions. This is a live Q&A, so please drop your questions into the chat at any time. I'm monitoring it. I know Michelle's monitoring it. And at the end, we will dedicate some time to any questions that haven't been answered, and we do make sure to answer everyone's question. And don't be shy. If you have a question, there's probably someone else thinking that question too. And if you'd like to message me directly because you feel like your question is private, feel free to do that as well. These webinars are being recorded, so just a few housekeeping notes. If you can keep your microphone muted, and because it's being recorded, we do put these later on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to see some of our previous guests from last year, you can go down that rabbit hole and learn all kinds of good stuff. So before I move further, I'd like to quickly acknowledge this team that we're here today. All of us are here on this call. One of the things that makes Phoenix different is that we do operate as a fully integrated design build firm. We have architecture, engineering coordination, interior design, permitting, and construction, and all of that is aligned from the first day. Lori is our CEO. She's a California registered architect. She truly leads the architectural vision, and she'll share more in a few minutes about really how Phoenix started. I serve as COO. My name is Sarah. I don't even think I said that at the beginning, but my name is Sarah Rogers. I really work on keeping projects aligned, organizing things behind the scenes, keeping things organized, and really working with clear communication throughout our team and our clients. Andre Noel leads construction services. He oversees execution in the field. We do call him the miracle worker for a reason. Kendra leads our interior design. She designs our homes. She ensures our homes feel refined and deeply personal. She's truly amazing. Lulu manages our client care, and she keeps communication steady throughout this entire process. So she functions as someone who you're always going to be able to have contact with, and you can always get a hold of for any question that you have throughout that entire home building process. Adam oversees permitting and code compliance, and he helps us move efficiently through approvals. Again, we work as one coordinated team, and that alignment is what allows us to really deliver high performance non-combustible homes in something that usually slows down traditional rebuilds. We don't have that problem. And we don't do this alone. You know, building high performance non-combustible homes requires alignment, not just within our team, but with manufacturers and partners with the materials that we work with. And many of these relationships of these logos that you see up here have been built over about 20 years of professional collaboration through Lori's career. They're trusted brands, they're proven systems, they're very reliable partners. They've been chosen very intentionally. And we work directly with manufacturers whenever possible. So we have direct to manufacturer pricing, we have streamlined delivery and execution, and these are very durable, long-standing relationships. I want to take a minute and I want to introduce Lori in her role as CEO and founder of PHNX. Again, Lori is a California registered architect with 25 years of experience. She has been building with ICF since 2011. She is trained in crisis intervention, trauma-informed care, which directly shaped the way PHNX approaches building. And since 2018, she's been working alongside wildfire survivors, and PHNX was truly born from that experience. Lori, I'd love for you to share how all of this began.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sarah. And again, thank you everybody for spending some time with us today. We won't keep you too long. We want it to be informative, but, brief and fun and, so thank you. We really appreciate that. As Sarah said, I've been an architect for over 25 years, and I've been building with insulating concrete forms since about 2011. And, helping those folks in Santa Rosa really changed my life. Working with them presented challenges that I had never encountered before, and it exposed serious flaws in the way we design and build homes. And what I saw was profound trauma. And I could also see how the rebuilding process itself was compounding it. The delays, the bureaucracy, and the decisions. There's so many decisions that we have to make when we're designing and building a new home. And so because of my training in trauma-informed care, I recognized what was happening, and these families were carrying enough already, and the system was just adding to it. So I knew that we needed to rebuild differently. And so PHNX grew from that realization. And so resilience isn't just in materials, but in process. So Sarah. So what exactly is it that we do? So PHNX is the only home builder in the United States constructing fully wood-free type 1 non-combustible homes per building code. That's very important. We're going to talk more about that today with Art. Non-combustible isn't just some marketing term. It has a very strict code definition. If the structural system contains combustible elements, it's not type 1. Simple. Our homes are engineered and permitted as type 1 construction, reviewed and approved by the building official. And by the way, I did want to mention that our permitting coordinator, Adam Jill, is actually a certified building official with 10 years of experience. So we really do have the best of the best on this team. And so this is the kind of thing that sets us apart from anyone else. Next. The building code defines, 5 construction types ranging from non-combustible there on your left all the way to fully combustible on the right. So types 1 and 2 are the only non-combustible types. Type 5 wood framing is the most combustible classification in the code. Nearly every home in the United States is built as type 5. And that's just the way it's always been. Type 1 is the highest level of fire resistive construction available. But up until now, it was only really reserved for, high rises, hospitals, large commercial buildings, multiplex cinemas, things like that. But for the first time, Phoenix has made that standard possible for single family homes. So if we could, next slide. So for years, non-combustible construction cost more, and it was, pretty common to say, oh, it's going to be a 30% upcharge if you're going to, build a home that doesn't burn. The obstacle to making the whole structure wood-free was always the roof. Plywood sheathing is combustible, and there really aren't any feasible non-combustible alternatives to sheathing. So we engineered a different solution. That's what our patent pending Phoenix Longspan roof and floor framing system does. It eliminates the plywood entirely. It can span farther. It simplifies the structure, and there's no sheathing. So there's no added fuel to the structure. We're not trying to make wood something it isn't here at Phoenix. We just eliminate it from the structure altogether. So if we could go to the next. Phoenix homes get built faster. We've built 3 homes, and all 3 were faster than we expected, and we expect more improvements as the more and more of these homes that we build, we're going to get faster at it. Our roof installs in days. Our spans allow the trades to get more room to move efficiently. Our stucco system is 2 steps instead of 5. And our Vision Builder interior design system streamlines decisions, so clients aren't overwhelmed. The process is guided, it's clear, and it's even fun. Kendra makes it really fun. All of that compresses the schedule. We consistently deliver these homes 8 to 12 months, and traditional builds often stretch to 16 months or more. And when you've lost already so much, any little bit of time we can save really does matter. Next slide. So here's the thing about the building code. It's focused on life safety, not structure preservation. So when you hear 2-hour wall or 3-hour rating, that refers to how long an assembly maintains its structural integrity during fire testing. Long enough for occupants to exit safely. In combustible construction, those hour ratings are critical because the structure itself can become fuel. But in non-combustible construction, the structure isn't contributing to the fire load, so that dynamic changes a little bit. It's still important, but it doesn't have the same importance that it does in combustible type 5 construction. But even if it did, our walls are 4-hour rated. Type 1A only requires 3 hours. Ours are 4 hours. Our roof assembly is non-combustible and 1.5-hour rated. We don't have any roof vents. We have no penetrations in our roof other than 1 or 2 plumbing vents, by the way. We use windows that are non-combustible on the exterior to help prevent ignition from wildfire exposure, and the entire envelope is sealed and rated more than R30. We're building for real world fire conditions, not just minimum code compliance. Next, please. So, and here's the other great thing too, right? This isn't just about fire. A wood-free home changes more than just the fire performance. There's no termites, there's no rot, there's no structural mold issues. If a pipe leaks in a wood-framed house, you're going to be stuck repairing structure. In a Phoenix home, if there was a pipe leak or an overflowed bathtub or whatever, you're not going to have to worry about replacing any structure. You're just going to replace any damaged finishes. So you won't even need a permit in most cases. Interior partitions are lightweight, non-bearing metal studs. We have no interior load-bearing walls. So future reconfiguration doesn't require structural changes. We have lower maintenance, fewer surprises, and in general, greater long-term durability. Next, please.
We did have a question that came in
Oh, sure.
asking, when do we expect the patent to be registered and approved by the US Patent Office for laws?
Our application was published late last summer, and we expect to have secured the patent by the end of the year.
Thank you.
So this is another super benefit to Phoenix Homes. So every Phoenix home is all electric and fully net zero energy. So there's no energy bill. Solar produces the energy, the batteries store it, the house runs on what it generates. Now, because the envelope is so efficient, the overall demand is low. And for most families, that translates to $2,000 to $4,000 a year in utility savings. So over the life of the home, that's significant money back in your pocket year after year. And what's even greater, during outages, the battery system keeps the home running, right? So you have lower monthly costs, greater independence, and so again, real resilience. And then here's my favorite part. I love talking about this. Next slide, please. So this is, this is what everybody always asks about, right? Insurance, are you insured? Well, in many wildfire prone areas, securing coverage has become one of the most stressful parts of rebuilding. And I'm really proud to say that Phoenix is the first home builder in the United States to have its homes formally recognized and pre-qualified by a national insurance carrier, Mercury Insurance. That recognition came because the structural risk profile is fundamentally different than any other home being built today. In Santa Clarita, Phoenix One, their family's annual premium ended up lower than it was before they lost their home in the tick fire, if you can believe that. When underwriting, I can't say that word, underwriting reflects the way a home is built, it reinforces everything we've discussed. Lower premiums over time, stability, and peace of mind. And so here, I think we're going to transition. Sarah, are there any more questions possibly on that portion that we should answer?
I'm
now, or
not
should
seeing
we move
anything
on?
come in quite yet. Nope.
Okay, well, let's transition over to design, and I'm going to introduce you to Kendra Kettlehead, our senior designer. But first, I want to give a shout out to our team and how proud we are of our. We won not one but two ICF Builder Magazine awards this year at the World of Concrete conference in Las Vegas last month. We were first runner-up for Best Small Residential, and we also won the People's Choice Award. So that was a really nice surprise. Phoenix One, of course, won a runner-up award as well. And previously to founding Phoenix, my first ICF home won an award as well. So we've got 4 awards under our belt already. So I think that's something we can all be really proud of. So I think I'll hand it off to Kendra.
All
And
right. So,
no, do you want me to stay on this slide yet? I think. Yeah, sorry about that. So building a Phoenix home isn't really just about resilience. It's about living beautifully. And Kendra and I designed from scratch. This is really important for you guys to know. We design it around your life, your values, your vision. So custom doesn't mean picking from a menu. It means creating something that's uniquely yours. And because we build with concrete and steel, we can design larger, lighter, taller spaces. Think 10-foot ceilings, even more, oversized windows, light-filled rooms. And now I'll hand it over to Kendra.
wonderful, wonderful.
Who will walk you through what custom design process feels like, especially if you've lost a home. Take it away, Kendra.
Awesome.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Can you hear me? Because I can't see me. So
Yes, we can hear you.
awesome. Well, that's okay. I can't see my camera, so I have no idea. But thank you, Lori. One of the things that we hear all the time from homeowners, especially fire survivors, is how overwhelming the typical custom design process can be. There are endless decisions, there's vague pricing, constant change orders. It's like being asked to make 1,000 high stakes choices with no clear path forward. And for someone who's already experienced trauma, that can feel impossible. That's why we created trauma-informed design process, one that's structured, calm, and clear. We break things into manageable, well-paced phases, well-paced phases. You'll never be asked to make dozens of decisions. We'll guide you each step in the right order with visuals, support, clear context, so that you always know where you are and what's coming next. And here's the most important part. This isn't templated or a pre-designed box. We offer full service architectural experience. Every Phoenix home is 100% tailored to you. We start with your needs, how you live, gather how you rest, how you cook, how you entertain, and build up from there. Whether you want the open entertainer's kitchen, or a sanctuary for solitude, or a multi-generational flexibility, we design around your life. You're not getting anyone else's floor plan with your name on it. You're getting your home thoughtfully designed and built to last. At Phoenix, custom means personal. And our job is to make that process not just possible, but peaceful, but even more importantly, fun and joyful. So a little bit about the design process. These are some of our beautiful homes. The design process. So we start out with your home design. In the beginning part of that, it's going to be a kickoff meeting where you come to the table, I come to the table, and we talk about everything that you need, everything that's going to go into your home, everything that you desire, thinking about things that you loved about your previous home and things that maybe you wanted out of your previous home that you didn't currently have. So that 2-hour process, you can bring visuals to the table, we can, discuss and brainstorm. That is meant to be like workshopping, just gathering information and truly getting to know you. And then we go through your budget, we go through everything, not just what you want, but how much you want to spend, and kind of going through the whole process, laying that out so that you have a clear understanding of what that's going to look like. And then we'll go back, we'll draft up your initial concept plans, and then we'll go through it's usually an iteration of a couple design meetings till we can get to really the design of your home that you are in love with. And once we have that determined, then we get the approval and we move into, we'll be doing behind the scenes, your construction documents, but then we will jump into the interior design of your home, which is going to be where we get the space theory gets on board and we start really getting into the nitty-gritty details of your kitchen, the vision builder process, where we get to look at all the interior finishes and plumbing and appliances, and you get to select all of those. So that's really the second phase of super fun, exciting, that I love to work with you on. And then we're getting your permit through permitting. And once we get that permit, we go into construction. So this is kind of shown in the weeks and months of how that schedule pans out. And then you get to move in once it's built. I kind of skipped over the whole construction part, but we know that.
Yeah,
Lori,
yeah. The construction just happens. It's magic. So.
Well, I mean, Lori did talk about how quickly we do that. See, I'm focused on, working with you on getting that home to be exactly what you want. And then we know how to build it. So I trust that all that works out just fine.
We did have another question come in, and this is one I think we probably need to add to this deck because it gets asked quite frequently. Can you comment on earthquake resistance?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do. We get that question at every webinar. So
Yeah.
we probably should just
Yeah, I
include
took a note. I was like, by now we should have figured out to add that in.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. We are fully earthquake resistant. The fact is that you can't build a home legally in California without it being earthquake resistant. So, our homes are definitely, using, the best materials, current up-to-date engineering to code, And yes, our homes definitely resist earthquakes. And, a lot of times if there's tricky soils or a tricky site that's on a slope, then we have to get a soils report. And we have to understand what the soils are, because, if there's landslide, if there's liquefaction that can happen in the soils, then that needs to be addressed in the footings. So you can't just always, go with really tiny normal footings, and it really depends on the soils almost more than anything else. So and this team knows I can totally get in the weeds.
I was like, you're totally nerding out right
So,
now.
so we just need to leave it at that. But feel free to reach out to us, and if you want more details about earthquake. But yes, the short answer is yes, absolutely.
We got another question too, and Kendra, did you see this question pop up?
I
Okay,
did.
go ahead.
I wanted to address that for Barbara. So how many designs do you provide? There are always changes and thoughts. And as we go through the process, that's why we really do a deep dive with that kickoff. We get as much information as we can to kind of direct our first attempt at that design. And then again, through an iteration, there's no like set number. It's really, we're working with you to get closer and closer to exactly what that is that you're looking for. So, that there's not like a set number, but usually when we come out with our first design, we don't provide multiple floor plans. We provide a floor plan based on all the feedback that you have provided us. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I feel like it matures over time.
It does, and it gets refined, definitely, but there's no like number associated with that, because I think it really just depends on and how, as you start to see things too, and this is very normal in the design process, we'll present our first concept design, and then you'll be like, oh, I see that now. I actually think I like it in this place, or I would want this room here, and that just comes with the process of going through the iterations of seeing the design. So that's all.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so our concept design contracts are hourly based. And what we do is we assess a not to exceed fee from the start that we know we're pretty confident will cover what we need to design your home. Quite often, we don't wind up going that far.
Right.
But we just want to make sure that we're not caught in the middle of providing you design services and suddenly we don't have enough time to finish our job. So in the beginning, we agree on this is how much time we think it's going to take. You agree on that, and depending on how many iterations, sometimes the clients want us to do more iterations. Well, let's see what it'll look like if we try this.
Yeah.
And then, like Kendra said, it's really important to go through the exercise, because we've had people that maybe they decide to put the project on hold or something, but they come back and then they're like, you know what, I thought about it, or I saw this other house and I really like this or that. It's just the fact that seeing it actually played out in the plans, in the renderings, helps you visualize so much better what you're getting. And
Yes.
Then you're able to comment more. It's just, the most important thing is getting that first design down. Once we get that first design down, then we work from there and we shape the house that you want.
And I think to add to that really quickly, because I think I brushed over this, in that first concept design that we issued will have walls and everything in it, like not the materials, of course, but like from a first get-go, you get to walk around and see the whole house in its entirety, all the rooms, the views. We deliver quite a good visual design so that you can understand exactly what that looks like. So it's very clear.
It's unfortunate. If you go to our the last webinar we had in September, I think we have renderings next to the actual house that we built, and you can really see just how similar it is, that you really get a true idea of what the house is before it's being built.
Yeah. And I will mention that we are in the process of putting together a catalog of homes. So, you know, we realize that for some people, it's just too much to start from scratch.
Mhm.
And so, you know, we should be coming out with that catalog of homes probably end of March. So just keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Is that, should we move on?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Okay, well, and I think we're gonna introduce our special guest, Art Andres, retired fire deputy chief and fire safety consultant. So Art, if you could just go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your experience and what it is that you do now, actually.
Absolutely. It was great to be able to see everybody. I'm Art Andrews, and I started in the field of EMS in 1988 as a EMT, went to paramedic school, and I kind of journeyed through running an ambulance, through a helicopter, and then spent a majority of my career in the fire department. So I had been in the fire department in the city of Ontario for over 20 years. I served at one time as the fire marshal, got to see some unique development in some rapidly growing areas of our community. And then I decided that I'd love to build a custom home and started talking to Lori about what that might look like in the foothills of Rancho Cucamonga. Right now, I am the director of EMS operations for Confire. So I'm back into the EMS side more than the fire side, but I've spent many, many years in a lot of different communities under some of the most trying times when people were faced with losing their homes.
Thanks, Art. Sarah, if you could go to the next slide, please. So I think if we could just, you know, sort of look at a little bit about what it is we're actually going to be talking about. And, you know, so we're basically going to discuss, you know, what actually happens during a wildfire, how fire behaves, and, you know, and how things have changed in the way we talk about this. And Sarah, if you would just want to go to the next slide, I think we'll just go over that, and then we'll stop the slides and we'll just have a chat. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. You know, so yeah, so let's just move to our Art and let's just have a chat. So Art, you know, I remember that, yeah, so Sarah, do you want to stop sharing
Sure.
so that, yeah, so we can just talk so people aren't staring at a slide? Thanks.
Yeah.
So Art, I remember like when we first met, you were telling me about like what happens in the war room, like when there's a wildfire. And you know that those horrible, you know, how difficult it is when you're you know, what are you guys focusing on? Are you focusing on saving lives or structures, or what's it like in there?
Yeah, so when there's a major incident, it's not necessarily a war room as much as it's an incident command, and we try to determine with the limited resources what's the best way to address the concerns. And life safety is always the primary concern. So if there in fact is somebody that's life is being threatened, that would get the most resources. And then we definitely focus on preserving property, which is you know, very important to most people, have all the possessions tied up into their most valuable asset, which is their home. And then we do the best we can to protect the environment from there.
Well, and so if I think if we can just give people a little bit of background of what is fire, like what are the physics of it, how does it behave, what happens with fire in structures?
Well, fire contained can be very useful for heating your home and cooking. Fire out of control can be devastating and cause not only a loss of life, but loss of property and devastated community. It's about heating any type of product. You know, we commonly think about wood, but most products, once they're heated to the right temperature, will start to give off gas, and that's actually what's burning. And so it's just a matter of the fuel and the amount of heat and the location, but we typically look at different factors like topography and wind as how we can predict where the fire is going to go and what would be the next way to attack the problem.
Okay. And could we just ask everyone in general to make sure they're muted, because now especially that we're not sharing screens, if you make a noise, then you're going to pop up as the speaker. So explain to us a little bit the difference between you know, when we say combustible, non-combustible, ignition, you know, and the importance of fuel and fire, and when we talk about things being fireproof, how does all that work?
So combustible versus non-combustible is the amount of time that the heat can be exposed to a product before it actually will burn. And so if we had wood next to metal and the exact same amount of heat and flame, obviously everybody will be aware that the wood would burn. We definitely have other products that are non-combustible besides metal, which is concrete. The ICF product is a great way to harden a structure. And it helps prevent ember attacks, which is typically the most common source of ignition in a home fire. It's not necessarily the direct flame impingement, although that is a source of a fire. But when one house is on fire and the house adjacent to it is sustaining that amount of heat, that's the radiant heat exposure that would cause that home to catch fire.
Yeah, and so that, I mean, that's the thing I think that's really key here. And, you know, a fact that not a lot of people know is that in a typical wood framed home, on average, there's the equivalent of about 200 trees. And so, you know, I think that the threat these days, I mean, we still call it wildfires, but homes aren't burning because of surrounding vegetation so much, right?
Yeah, there are definitely different factors. Fuel, topography, and weather are the primary ones. We have many different homes now that are being built in what we call the wildland interface. People have enjoyed the rich diversity that California offers, and there isn't necessarily a one size fits all. You know, there are many communities have built mass production tract homes. But the ones that are enjoyed the most are dream homes that people have been able to balance their work-life environment and build into a community that has a lot of natural vegetation. So those are the ones that you typically see that are most threatened. But if it's something that we plan to preserve, we go through the process of trying to figure out how do we harden that structure and make it more fire resistant.
Yeah, and I think, you know, people always ask us, you know, like, you know, how do I build a fireproof home? And, you know, what I try to explain is that there's really no such thing as fireproof, because if you put enough fuel on anything, it'll burn, right?
Correct. And there's products inside homes as well. So although the structure itself, the furniture inside the home, if exposed to enough heat, can catch fire. We definitely have seen even high-rise buildings catch fire with enough time and heat exposure. So it's nothing that is completely fireproof, but you're trying to do the best you can to harden the structure so it won't catch fire from normal circumstances.
Right. Yeah. And that's why, you know, for Phoenix, it was so important to get the wood out completely. You know, any part of the home that could also serve as fuel is a point of vulnerability. And so like some people, you know, we get questions about, well, doesn't the foam on ICF melt? And yes, it can. We use Fox blocks, ICF, and Fox blocks have a 4-hour rating, and their foam passes all of the tests required to enable it to allow it to be used in non-combustible construction. Not all products out there have that specific certification. So that's really, really important, okay? And you know, and we have foam in our roof panels as well. Now that foam is also approved for use in non-combustible construction, and it's not exposed. The foam on the blocks and the foam in the roof, none of this is exposed to the exterior or to the interior. And so it would really, really, really take a lot of heat over a long period of time to start working on this foam and get it to melt, or to start working on the steel and get it to melt, you know, or deform. And the whole point is, you know, that's where like defensible space comes in. But, you know, if we can have less wood homes in general, then we have less fuel, and then we don't have to worry about this so much. So even 2 or 3 fully non-combustible homes on a city block could actually help protect their combustible neighbors, right?
100%. And I think you bring up a great point. Although foam by itself exposed may deteriorate, nothing in the product that you've designed is exposed foam. You have finishings on the outside, you have finishings on the inside. And so if in fact the outside is exposed to flame, it's not flame directly on the foam, it's flame directly on the exterior portion of the home. And then the inside of the foam is concrete, which is also non-combustible. The defensible space is the real critical component that you talked about. And there really is a lot of time spent on fuel modification and zones. So we call them rings around the home. And so depending on what jurisdiction, they may term it zone A, B, or C, or zone 0, 1, and 2. And the zone A or zone 0 is that product that's the closest to the home. So removing fuel that is those dead plants and trees are definitely a no-no directly adjacent to the home. And almost every local jurisdiction has their own way of implementing those fuel modification plans. But that is a big factor, is making that space around the home defensible.
Right, right. And so like you don't want to stack your firewood if you have a wood burning fireplace, like you don't want to stack your firewood like right next to your house either, right?
Correct.
But at least, with a non-combustible home like a Phoenix home, even if your neighbors, are, even if you have, flames in proximity, there needs to be a lot of fuel there to keep a fire hot enough burning for 4 hours or longer before it would really start to affect that wall. Like, do you have any idea like what some of the temperatures were in the Eaton and Palisades fires?
Yeah, those are a little bit difficult to project out because wind was a factor. And so any flame by itself, when you have significant forces of wind behind it, can significantly change the behavior not only of the fire, but the temperature of those fires. And so those are definitely factors that are harder to control. Those are anomalies, but definitely if your home is hardened, the wind will blow the fire past the home. It won't ignite, and you'll continue to see your home stand freely once the fire is blown through.
Well, and that's where our other, really important feature, that we have literally no roof openings whatsoever. We have no open eaves, we have no roof vents. Even our solar panels, actually the stanchions clip onto our standing seam roof, so we don't need to make penetrations into the roof for that either. And so that even if there's wind and those embers blowing around, as long as you shut your windows, there should be no ember penetration into the structure whatsoever. Is there anything you'd like to add, Art, or we could open it up for questions if I'm sure people have questions.
I think the ember component is something that you shouldn't overlook. Obviously, I've been on enough fires to be able to tell the difference of what has been direct flame impingement fire versus embers. We've had some major campaign fires that the fire has blown through. Then hours later, a home will be under fire. It's because those embers get embedded and smolder, and you don't notice it immediately. But hours later, you're finding that home structure fire because of those embers.
Wow.
So do we have any questions for Art?
I don't see any yet. Don't be shy.
Really? Wow, okay. Well, I mean, I just think that, this has been so beneficial, and, and it's not that often that we get an actual real fire professional
Yes.
here to answer these questions and, really understand what it is that we're doing at Phoenix, and the fact that it's completely different than anything anyone else is doing. So we really want everybody to make sure that, when you are talking to design builders, that you're listening to what they're saying and listening to the words and asking the right questions. And please know that we are always here. We don't, it doesn't matter if, you're going to go with us or not. Building a home is a very expensive and long and involved process. And it's not like going out and buying a t-shirt, I mean, we get that. And so, we have long conversations with people before they decide to move forward with us. And so it's perfectly fine to just reach out to us and ask us questions. So, I think, well, if nobody has any questions for Art, then I guess we could probably let Art go. and
Thank
help.
you. You know where, if you have any questions, just give me a call.
Okay. Thank you so much, Art. I really
Art.
appreciate it. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. So I guess if we just want to wrap up, and Sarah, you can take it, I guess, huh?
All right, we have about 5 minutes left, so we're ending on time. That's good news.
Woohoo!
Okay. Let's see. Let me know when you can see my.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to wrap up. So I really just liked it in the presentation with saying that when we build, it's very intentional. We want to build safer, smarter, stronger. Resilience is achievable, and it can be done without sacrificing design. It can be customized, and it can really be in alignment with your budget and how much you can afford. This is not a theoretical model. This is a system that we've built, we've refined it, we've delivered it, we have built these homes. These are wood-free, type 1 construction permitted. We can prove that these are non-combustible homes. It's the same cost as traditional wood. They build faster. You're pre-qualified for insurance. They are fully net zero, and they are fully custom. And so I just want to leave you on that note. A couple of events coming up. We are going to be at the Stronger Together Solutions Summit that's at the Pasadena Convention Center this Saturday. So if you're attending, please stop by and say hi. We would love to meet you in person.
We're going to have a lot of hands-on stuff.
Yes, we are.
We're really going to have fun.
Yes, yeah, you can actually touch our blocks, miniatures of the blocks that we build with. We can totally walk you through exactly how these homes are built. Lots of photographs of homes we have built.
We're going to have displays and samples of our vendor products, all of the materials and products that we feature in our Phoenix homes. We're going to have all of that there.
And it is a free event, so all you have to do is RSVP. So I hope to see you there if you're available. And we will be having a webinar next month on March 16th. It's always on a Monday at 4:30, and we're going to feature HTK structural engineers. And Lori, I'll let you give a little spill about our engineers.
So again, I've been working with these guys for nearly my entire career, and they're brilliant. And Al and Vari is going to join us. So HTK is the engineer for all of our Phoenix homes. They also engineered our Phoenix long span joist, and they've been wonderful, and they're extremely knowledgeable. So if you do have those questions about seismic or soils reports or anything like that, and you really want to get nerdy about it, next month is our nerd webinar. You're webinerd.
There we go. Hashtag webinerd. So I just want to thank all of you for your time. Thank you for being here with us. Again, we are here to educate. Whether you build with us or not, you can always reach out. We are happy to answer questions, tell you anything we know. We're here for this community as much as we can be. I wanted to let you know that we have updated our website. So there's so much new information.
It went live this morning. So
yeah, just this morning.
Yeah.
So if you've been to our website, you might go back. Our frequently asked questions are very much updated. There's a lot of really good information there that was not there before. And you can also schedule a one-on-one with me at any time through our website. There's a QR code here on the screen. if you want to scan it, but if you just go to the contact page, you can easily set up a time to chat. Again, it's only informational. I'm here to answer your questions. And just thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you to our team for being here. And we really appreciate you spending your time with us today. And stay dry, huh?
Yeah. Woo.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen. We love you too.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Well, everybody take care and stay dry.
Yes.
See you next month or Saturday.
Saturday.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.